Gustafson. I think most of you know me, but I'm a pianist and also chamber music coach at the Chamber Music Institute. We are so thrilled to host this event with such a marvelous guest artist. You can read a lot about Mr. Chiu here in the bio, but I just want to say on a personal note, not only is he a fabulous pianist, world-renowned pianist, an amazing teacher who teaches at 2 universities and is constantly going back and forth between the 2. But he also is just such an inspiring person and really, really kind. And I think that for me is a very important part of being a musician. Just that spreading joy, spreading kindness and inspiration. So we're just so grateful to have you here. I know the kids are going to learn a lot and just soak up every minute. I wish I had had an experience like this when I was young, so I think it's just going to be thrilling. I did want to say very quickly that we are opening fall registration, even though it seems so far away. We're going to be opening fall registration soon, so please keep an eye out for an email from Caroline Stahl regarding registration, and we hope you'll all sign up again for the program in the fall. Without anything further, we will go ahead and get started. So our first performers are from the Chamber Music Institute. We're going to be having an elegy for cello, soprano, and piano. Come on up, guys.
So how do you think that went? How do you feel about that? Was that kind of what you were expecting? A little better, a little worse?
I don't know. I feel like it was kind of what I was expecting.
Kind of what you were expecting? How about you?
It was mostly good, yeah.
Yeah? How about you?
I messed up.
You messed up a little?
Yeah.
What did you do? What happened?
In the beginning, I read the line wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Has that happened before?
No.
Why do you think it happened?
I think I was just nervous.
Okay. So when you're nervous, you've had other opportunities to be nervous, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Do you have an idea of what happens to you when you get nervous?
I don't know. I think I just get like a little too in my head sometimes.
A little?
Like too in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, overthinking
Yeah.
things. All right, good. So how do you all feel? It's good, right? I know your voice is beautiful, your cello sound was great, you had a wonderful control over the piano. That was really very nice. What do you think could be better? What are you trying to work on?
I feel like we could try the tempo push because I feel like that wasn't as good as we normally could.
So the tempo going forward a little bit more? Yeah. What do you think?
Probably say like towards the end also we worked on like measure 30 a lot, and I think that could have been better.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel?
Oh yeah, like the same. Normally we like slowed down more at 30, so
Okay.
it's been different.
I think that my opinion is the tempo is actually quite nice. Why do you want to be faster? For technical reasons?
Just
for
the
reasons?
measure 27, we normally push the tempo because of the markings, and I feel like we didn't push it as much as we usually do.
Okay. I actually feel like I didn't hear much of a tempo difference. So maybe the opening, the first page or two, could be a little more relaxed so that you have room to push the tempo enough that I can feel it, enough that the listeners can actually understand, oh, this is on purpose, like they're getting faster. Why do you think this faster section, what makes it want to be faster? I know Massenet put there, what did they say, animate peu à peu, so get more and more animated as you go. Just because he put it there doesn't mean we have to do it. But he put it there probably because the music kind of has a character of wanting to go faster. So what do you think is making it want to go faster there?
I feel like the words are like kind of like the most dramatic in the whole piece, and I feel like that's like the climax of the piece, so we should probably like push the tempo there.
Yeah. How do you feel?
Probably like the same thing, like the story of it.
And you?
I think like the chords are also different. Like there's an E flat there, which doesn't like appear many other places. So.
Yeah, it's kind of a more dissonant kind of harmonies happening. And the rhythm, dun, da, dun, dun, da, dun, dun, over and over and over again. It really kind of builds up to something that's quite dramatic. And then it goes kind of back to what happened at the beginning, right? So I think when we look at things like dynamics, let me just use dynamics as an example. We think F means forte, it means play louder, P means piano, play quieter. There usually is kind of an emotional reason why the composer put a forte where he puts a forte, or an emotional reason why he put a piano where he uses those. Those are kind of shortcut things. And I like to think of dynamics in kind of an emotional way. So when something's louder, it is more like you're projecting your voice, you're projecting the sound. But I like to feel forte as, here I have some music I want you to hear, I'm going to bring it to you and play it for you. You can just stay in your seat, I'll come to you and play this thing. Piano emotionally means, I want you to hear this, but I can't move it, it's delicate, so come over here and I'll play it for you. Yeah. So that means louder is kind of more projecting, but there's a purpose to the projection, that you really want people to hear this. And piano is playing more quiet, but quiet to try to entice people to come. Yeah. So, for example, at the very beginning, it's marked forte in the piano part. And then when the cello comes in, it's piano. So emotionally, what's going on here, it's kind of like you're calling people to attention, and then you're gonna, okay, everybody's listening now. Now you can just stay where you are, and you can play this beautiful melody. Could you try that? Do this forte as kind of a call to attention. And then bring it down, then you have pianissimo, and the cello comes in piano. And when she's prepared, the listeners for you, then you come in. Try that was a little different.
Well, I just kept that like more in mind, like yeah.
You're playing
more expressive.
More expressive, but you're seated there. People are coming to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you do differently?
I think I made it like a little louder at the end, so I had more room to quiet down.
Okay. I think possibly you could do maybe push the tempo just a tiny bit. Yeah. Settle into a quieter tempo when it's piano. Show people a little bit more the urgency of you're starting a piece, everybody listen. Yeah. Can you try that one more time? Make a bigger contrast between your forte and then bring it down to piano. And you can. Time you play, it's piano, and the second time it's forte, it's in my score. Can you make a bigger difference between piano and then bring it out to forte? One more time from the beginning. So if piano means I'm playing something really important, come listen. If forte means I'm playing something important here, I'm going to play it for you. What would fortissimo possibly mean emotionally? What do you think?
Maybe like really trying to capture someone's attention, maybe upset or something.
Yeah, so the listener isn't really paying attention to you, so you're going to, hey, I want you to hear this. Yeah. So playing loud, even louder than forte, is one way to say hey. Another way to do it is to give a little more like an accent on the. Another one is to push the tempo possibly. Another way is to put more pedal to create a bigger kind of resonance. Yeah. So there are lots of different ways to create a fortissimo. Sometimes, especially in a chamber or a chamber kind of arrangement, the piano can't play full fortissimo. Now, if you do, that's why we have the lid down, because we think if you do play a real fortissimo, it's going to like cover everybody. Yeah. So we have to be able to find a way to create a fortissimo feeling without just playing it super loud, which means a little faster, possibly, with using tempo, a little more of an accent and pulling back after the accent, a little less pedal, a little more pedal. All these things are options. These are all kind of levers to tweak and combine in different combinations. Yeah? Okay, let's get into that measure 27. Is it 27?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 27, the animated chord. Start at, is that a good place to start? Right on 27?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and keep in mind the animated chord, it's kind of like a crescendo. It's kind of like getting more and more urgent. Yeah, so you can use the tempo to do that kind of stuff. Right.
Still can I have a D, please? Thank you.
Do it again, and even more, I think you can exaggerate the tempo change, the real push, so that you, in 30, you can really take some extra time, note by note in measure 30. Yeah, as you get into the slower tempo, really watch each other, boom, 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 8 note, 8 note. Yeah. Right. One more time. Continue because there are lots of dynamic changes at the end, and you guys did it very differently this time. Much more intense, much more engaged. Right? How did you decide on the tempo? I want to hear, like, is that something you just naturally settled into? Or is it something you guys experimented with, slower or faster?
I think we experimented with it a few times and we went slower and faster. We decided on this after a few sessions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'd like to, could you try the ending, start again from 27, and this time continue on to the end, and really make the tempo a little bit slower, the arrival tempo for the final page.
I feel like that was better.
Yeah, I think it's very expressive. What's happened, I think, is instead of just trying to play the right notes and trying to play the right dynamics and all the things that are marked, you're actually kind of feeling it and then pushing and pulling the tempo, the dynamics. Instead of checking your mind to see if it's right, you're checking your heart and seeing if you're creating the right kind of feeling. Yeah. And if you're looking here to judge whether you're playing correctly, all the other stuff will happen. More pedal, less pedal, louder, softer, faster, slower. All those will happen in the service of how this feels. Yeah. Because you can follow the score and play exactly what's there, and still it won't be emotionally connecting or engaging. That makes sense? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very nice. Thank you very much. So how did you feel about that? Did that go as well as you usually do, or a little bit less good, better?
A little bit less.
A little bit less good? What? Why do you say that? What makes you say that?
Well, my turns and triplets.
Your turns and triplet? Like which one? Can you talk about?
Here.
Mm-hmm.
Like this one. And turns. I'm not sure.
Okay, but you have a general impression that those things weren't as good as you usually, or not as good as you usually play, or not as good as you'd like to play.
I'm not as good as I usually.
Okay, all right, good. Because everybody wants to play better. There are realistic betters and worse, all right? Good. I thought it was very exciting. I can tell that you have studied the score. The details are in there, and that's really the important first step for any performer. If the composer took time to put these marks on a page, and remember, back in Beethoven's time, everything had to be handwritten. No photocopy machine, no printing PDFs or things like that. So if you wanted to make a copy, he really had to spend time doing that. So you respected that by paying a lot of attention to the details. What is your favorite part in this movement?
I think here, like this section.
Can you play that for us so we all know what you're talking about?
Where should I start?
Start right when it becomes your favorite. So it's this section, and where does it stop becoming your favorite? Where it's just like really good, but not your favorite? Oh, so all three lines here. Okay, so go ahead and play that again so we all know what we're talking about. Good. So why is this your favorite spot?
It's like the climax of the piece, I think. And it's just like the tempo changes. It's really exciting.
Exciting. So it is the climax of the piece, of this movement. What makes it the climax? Why are you saying that?
I mean, like, it's like the biggest part. And, well, like, it happens before here, too.
Yeah.
But this section's like longer, I think.
Okay. A little more developed. There's more details, and it switches back and forth between different materials. Right. Okay. Good. Where does it stop becoming your favorite?
When it like slows down.
Okay. All right, good. Can you play for us, again from the same place, and keep it going all the way to there, and then when it's just like normal Beethoven in your eyes, just make it feel and sound like normal Beethoven. All right? What is your least favorite moment in this movement? For whatever reason.
I like the piece, but like I don't like the chromatic scale here.
You don't like the chromatic scale. Okay, why?
It's kind of harder to.
It's hard to play. It's awkward, or why is it harder?
Or I mean, because it's like a template here and then followed by a bunch of 16s.
So rhythmically, it's a little tricky to navigate. And how does it make you feel then when you play that part?
Nervous because the piece is already pretty fast, and
Okay.
that's like even faster.
So it's a little awkward. It's not quite as flowing, or it needs to be even more flowing than you're able to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you play from? Is that a good spot to start, or is it from here? Okay, from there. Can you play it and make me feel that you're like struggling with that? Yeah? Make me feel it. So what did you do?
Like, I think, like I really into it and made it louder.
You made it louder, you brought it out a little bit. Try one more time and really make this sound awkward. You know, not comfortable, because that's not. Good. What did you do?
Bring it out.
You brought out the right hand a little bit more. You brought out the left hand also. It made it really sound like there was a rhythmic clash, right? Did it make you feel like it was awkward or a little not refined? Okay, good. That's what your interpretation is going to be made of. This being super exciting and this being super awkward. Yeah? If that's what you feel and you're the one spending, you even said it, you like the movement, but you don't like this section. So if in the end you're playing something that you want people to hear, you're trying to share it with them, you're not going to just skip over this and or play it in a way where it's nice and comfortable. Because that's not what you're reacting to. If we want to follow your interpretation, we need you to play it the way you feel, which means making this super exciting and making this super awkward. Yeah. Can you try one more time and really emphasize that? Good. So what did you do? That was very nice, by the way.
I made movements more even instead of like being louder.
Okay, so you really pushed everything so that you could really hear the clash. Great. There are 4 emotions that for some reason classical pianists tend to shy away from. And I haven't quite figured out why, but this is like a rule. It just every classical pianist suffers from this. Avoiding boredom, avoiding confusion, avoiding irritation, avoiding frustration. There's too much happening, not enough happening. I wish it could happen, but it's not. Or this is happening too much. When we feel like this passage is a little confusing and difficult to deal with, it's a little frustrating and it's a little confusing, right? If I try to make it less confusing and less irritating, then it becomes just a normal scale like the rest of it, right? And you've not communicated your feeling about the piece for that particular passage. Anybody who plays has had this immediate reaction like, oh, this is confusing, I'm going to simplify it a bit. And we don't even question whether we should simplify, make it more palatable. We just automatically think that. Have you ever thought, this is confusing, I'm going to streamline it a little bit for the listener?
Yeah.
Or this is really boring, it's just kind of nothing's happening, it's just chord after chord. I'm going to maybe speed it up a little bit, make it a little more interesting. We don't even question whether we should make it more interesting. We automatically think it's boring, I got to make it more interesting. It's confusing, I got to make it less confusing. Irritating, ooh, I'm going to just speed through this so nobody gets irritated. Frustrating, I'm going to give them what they want. Yeah. As opposed to, this is really confusing for me. How can I make the listener feel confused? Yeah, so that they're coming along this voyage with me. The thing is, once you get through this confusing passage, all of a sudden it's like really simple 16th notes and really flowing. The more you make the chromatic thing complex, the more the flowing will feel flowy. Yeah. It's like if you have, if you're cooking like your grandma's recipe for something which has secret ingredients and all that kind of stuff, and you get the recipe, you're going to follow the recipe to make that dish. What if one of the ingredients was, let's say, onion? And you say, oh, I don't like onion, it smells bad, I would never just eat an onion. I'm going to leave it out of the recipe because you don't like onion. well, the recipe's not going to be the recipe anymore, all right? Just because some of the ingredients are a little less palatable, you're not going to leave them out. You're going to still put them in. So we have to think of this as a dish. And the recipe is playing all these notes at the right time, in the right order, in the right way. Yeah. And respecting each of the ingredients for what it is. You're not going to replace onion with apple. Yeah. Just because you don't like onion, you're not going to leave it out, nor are you going to replace it with something else. You're going to put the onion in. Yeah. So this is a little bit the onion of this food. Here's the maple syrup part. All right. Okay, good. I want to do something. There are lots of like dynamic shifts, so I want to have you like feel something. Let's see, where's this spot? Here. Could you contrast? I see you've already circled fortissimo, piano, fortissimo, fortissimo, piano, sforzando. I'd like you to do something. When you play the fortissimo, I'd like you to sit up like super straight. And when you're playing piano, crouch down like that. I want you to give a visual cue for those dynamic markings. What's a good place to start?
Oh, we can just start right
Right on there, okay. Fortissimo. This with your legs straight up. And then crouch over. Take a little time if you want to change position. Take time. Start there. Okay, I think the audience can see that it's a little visual correlation with the emotions that you're trying to feel in the dynamic. Even that little bit of a movement, a slight movement, makes a big difference, doesn't it? Yeah. It's because all of this is a package, like an emotional package, that you can use when you want to express fortissimo. Yeah. Overwhelming. Listen to this. I'm hiding this. This is delicate. You have to come here. Okay, I think that's good. Thank you very much. You're doing a great job. nice. Thank you very much. So, did you start with piano or did you start with cello?
Yeah.
Piano. Just like me. Started piano. Then when I was in middle school, we started instruments. I wanted to play cello so I could be in the youth orchestra and be part of like an ensemble. The thing about being a pianist, if you're only a pianist, you still feel like you can spend your whole life playing just piano stuff. Yeah. Other instrumentalists, there's a limited amount of repertoire that solo cello can play. Solo violin, solo flute, solo clarinet. There's not much solo drums, not much to do. It's a much more of a community and kind of collaborative thing. So I'm very happy to see you doing cello and piano at the same time. How do you feel that? Were you happy with the performance? Did it go the way you wanted it to, you expected it to, or thumbs up?
Mostly it was good.
Mostly it was good?
I made some mistakes. Yeah, like
Okay.
I had mistakes.
Okay. What kind of mistakes?
Like I missed some notes.
Missed some notes?
We start this.
And why does that usually not happen?
I don't know.
Okay, so what happened this time, you think?
I think it was more tense.
More tense? And where are you saying you were, where do you think you were more tense? In your arms, in your back, in your fingers?
Just like everywhere.
Everywhere? I felt that before. And why do you think that happened this time?
Because like it's in front of you, like people. Yeah.
A lot of people. Have you performed this in a setting like this before?
Yeah.
And how did, what was the last time that you did this? Like this, yesterday?
Yeah.
How did it go yesterday?
Like pretty, like the same.
Pretty good?
Same, yeah.
Oh, the same? You messed up in this?
Well, I didn't mess it, but generally it was like just as good.
Okay, all right. And do you remember the first time you played this from beginning to end for someone?
Like I played it for my teacher a while ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? So go back to that lesson in your mind. How did this go? How did your performance? Do you remember having a feeling of, phew, that was pretty well, or, ooh, what's going to happen now?
I think it went pretty well.
I think it went pretty well. Okay, good. Did you pick this piece to work on, or did your teacher pick it, or did you kind of collaborate together and she gave you?
My teacher picked it, yeah.
And did you know the piece?
Not before. No.
Okay, so when was the first time you listened to the piece?
Like months ago.
After you got the assignment?
Yeah.
Okay. Was it a recording, like YouTube or something?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember who it was who played it? Do you remember, well, on that note, I'll say I was lucky enough to live in France for quite a number of years, and one of the first things that happened when I arrived in Paris, somebody came up to me and said, would you like to go hear Sviatoslav Richter play in his festival? I was like, oh my God, this is one of the icons of my musical development. I thought he was dead. I thought he had died because he wasn't coming to the States to play. He was in France and he was touring. He played like 200 concerts a year in the last 5-6 years of his life. And he had these infamous kind of concerts where he almost played every day. He'd be in a truck, piano in the back, the piano tech was the driver, and they'd go from large festival to large festival concert hall, but in between they'd stop and he would come into a church like this and say, oh, this is very nice, let's bring the piano in here and we'll do a concert tomorrow. And I'll play, what shall I play? Bach Benedict Fugues. Okay, so he did some Bach. The next day he felt, I feel like playing Grieg lyric pieces. And I heard this concert where he just played Grieg lyric pieces. He played this. And it was in a kind of a large converted barn a few hours outside of Paris. And it was announced the day before, and there were like 400 people in this barn. We were like, it was in the summer, it was soaking hot. And he came out, turned on all the lights, except this one kind of gooseneck lamp that was on the floor and pointed over his shoulder onto the score. He played with music the last 20 years of his life. And so that was lighting the score, and everything else was dark. there was kind of a spooky feeling. Every once in a while he'd be playing and his face would go forward and you could see his face, and then all of a sudden be back in the shadows. And he had the whole volume and he was just flipping through and playing this, playing this. He played for 2 hours of Grieg. He said it was just unbelievable. So, was it Richter's recording that you heard, possibly, or not? You don't know. Okay. Did you get a feeling that you liked the piece, or you were a little confused, or you didn't like it when you first heard it?
Well, at first I was kind of confused, especially with this part. I didn't really understand that. I like
Okay.
that. I like it a lot.
Okay, good. When you first started working on it, was it harder to learn or easier to learn than you thought?
Easier.
Easier. Okay. I'm asking you questions like this because this is part of the emotional work that we have to do around playing. Yeah. I talk a lot about heart. It's the most important part of heart, mind, body. It's not the only part, of course. You have to have all three working. And pianists generally have very well developed heart, mind, and body. But the heart is kind of like the battery. If you don't have the battery charged, you're not going to have any energy to do any of the stuff that you want to do. So it's very important for you to know like where you stand emotionally with this piece. You might be like, I love it, but my performances have been a little scary and I'm a little intimidated. It could be you don't like the piece, but it was assigned or it's part of an audition or something, so it's really important. So you find your motivation or your energy to play the piece in different ways. Right? I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the one who played Beethoven. Where's your favorite part?
I like this part, but it's like so.
You like it because it's hard?
Well, I like it. It sounds really good. And like, there's like tensions and like releases.
It's interesting writing it. It creates a lot of density and a lot of texture, and there's a lot for you to work with. Yeah. Do you feel excited by this passage? Do you feel like focused? Do you feel like relaxed, enjoying?
Focused.
Focused, okay. Can you play that and show us what you mean in music? What did you do?
I think I listened.
Okay, good. It was very exciting. First of all, it was super clean. Yeah, you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're happy about that. It was very exciting. I think you kept the dynamic low until just a little bit later. I think that was much more exciting this time. This is why you have to know what you're trying to do emotionally with the passage. Yeah. If you know that you have to play loud, you have to play fast, you have to play the right notes, that's a lot of stuff to know, and it's not engaging. What you're thinking in your head is what we're thinking in our head as listeners. Right? So if you're thinking emotionally, like, I'm going to build suspense, and I'm going to let it build until it gets to this point and you can't handle it anymore, and then I'm going to burst out. Of course you're going to play faster. Of course you're going to play soft and bring it louder. You're going to push the tempo. You're going to sustain the long line of the pedal. Make it clear, but pedal can create the resonance. Yeah. But all of that in service of what you're trying to produce emotionally. What's the least favorite moment in this piece for you?
I like the piece.
You like the entire piece? But if you like everything, then like if everybody's a winner, nobody's a winner. It could be a measure, it could be a chord, it could be a note.
Well, like these are different. It's like kind of like this sometimes.
So they're hard to handle.
Yeah.
And what do you do with that then?
Just practices.
Can you bring those out for me? How difficult, how awkward or difficult they are? Maybe can you start from there so we can contact? You kind of dived into it and kind of pulled it out from the depths of the piano. I could feel you like this and making an effort to play those things. It made the whole thing just a little bit more, a little slower, but not just slower. If I told you, okay, once you get here, play slower, it would be a totally different result. You know? You were doing slow because you needed to express something, which was that the left hand is a little bit awkward and a little bit like pulling it out of the mud. You know? It made this slower, it made it a little bit cleaner, it made a little bit more rubato back and forth. I think you emphasized this forzando more. You know, all of that is part of the package of making this sound cumbersome. So I've talked about this a lot. This is a very important kind of sequence. It's a pretty simple sequence. One is to play exactly what the composer wrote. That's the first step. That's already a pretty hard step. Especially with something like Grieg, he has a lot of markings. He's very opinionated about how he wanted his music to sound. Second is to know how does that music make you feel. Yeah, that's something that I talked about boredom, confusion, irritation, frustration. That's where you have to deal with that. Like, not just I love this part and this makes me excited. This is nice and relaxing, but like this is really gnarly. I don't like this part. This is so boring. I wish I could just get through it. Yeah, so acknowledging that the emotion, figuring out as a professional musician what is musically in the score that makes me feel that way. Yeah, you cited this kind of five, quintuplet kind of thing. It's hard going back and forth in time. And then the last part as a performer is how can I underline those things? How can I highlight those elements that make me feel that way so that the audience has a chance to be in sync with me? Yeah. Do the composer's writing. After that, you can do whatever you want. Probably you'll want to do what Grieg wrote, but acknowledge the emotion. What's making you feel that way? Highlighting that so someone else can feel that way. If you just keep doing that, and I like using favorite part, least favorite part, those are the most obvious things to apply this to, but every note, every chord, every measure can be analyzed this way, so you get an emotional sense of why you're playing it as opposed to the technical stuff of what you need to do. That make sense? Great, thank you. Wonderful. Thank you very much. How do you feel that way? Thumbs up, thumbs down?
It went pretty well.
Went pretty well? Why do you say that? What makes you say that?
I think I've been working a lot on clarity on this piece,
Mhm.
and I think that came through well, even though the top part of this can was a little bit more muted compared to that
Mhm.
piece. I tried to bring out the top more.
Okay, very good. I have to tell you, full disclosure, I hate this piece.
That's me.
But your playing actually reconciled me with the piece. I'll tell you why I hate it. When I went to live in Paris, I wanted to get kind of a sense of the French music kind of community there. And there's a big competition, the Marguerite Long competition, that happens every 2 years, I think. And when I got there, the competition was just about to start. So I thought, this is great, I'm going to go to the competition and listen to everything. That'll give me a good sense of who the players are and who's coming, and Marguerite Long, who is that, and I can hear some great performances. And that competition was started in honor of Marguerite Long, wonderful French pianist. And every time they had it, this was her piece. Like, this is something that she played a lot. People knew her interpretation of this. And so as an homage to her, every time they did the competition, they picked one of the movements and made that the required piece that every contestant had to play. Well, that particular year that I attended was the 100th anniversary of her birth. So they wanted to make a big special thing. So the required piece was the entire thing. So I said, okay, this will be interesting. So I heard 40 versions of this. When the funeral march started, after like about 10 or 11, the funeral march of that one, it's like, more of this. And then if somebody took a repeat, oh my God. So that's why I hate the piece. I heard 40 versions, one after another, of this, and unfortunately they were all very similar, so there was very little kind of personality coming through. But I haven't listened to this piece on purpose for quite a number of years. I'm still cleansing myself of that. So when I saw this, I was like, But your performance actually was really good.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and it reconciled me with the piece. You brought out a lot of detail. I can tell you studied the score a lot. You kind of worked how these things are going to coordinate with each other. You brought out a lot of detail, keeping the pedal kind of lighter and focusing the attack and stuff on the melody. The rhythms were super tight and clean. You did a wonderful job. So thank you for reconciling. Now you have to play the funeral march so I can hear it. I'm not ready for that yet. All right, good. Let's talk a little bit about practicing. What are you working on in this movement?
I think accuracy.
Accuracy. Okay.
And clarity, as I said.
Accuracy and clarity. Are there particular passages that you're working on for accuracy?
this one in particular here. Mostly this part, development.
The 4th Street kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And how do you practice it?
Or just hands by hands, eyes closed. Really focusing on my ears and how I feel, the fingertips feel.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Let's take a. Is that a good place to start right there?
Sure. Yes.
Can you play 1, 2, 3, 4? Eight measures. Yeah, so just go from here to down, or to here. Yeah, just there to there. Just so play that so we all know what we're talking about. That's kind of an awkward place to start. Okay, so let's just go up to here, from here to there, right? Okay, so that's exactly what you played. Tell me what you're expecting in order for it to be called perfect. How would you like to play this so that it comes out exactly like that? It would be like perfect.
Well, there are many aspects to it. There is also the accuracy and then the musical.
And
The musical.
musical, yes.
The
So
phrasing,
all of those
yeah.
things, yeah, all those things. When you play that passage, what is going to say, that was exactly what I wanted to do? How do you want it to, what's the tempo, what's the balance, what's the phrasing?
I think it has to sound grandiose and exciting and passionate, but also not noisy.
Okay,
And then if it's not accurate and then the voicing is not right, it's easy to sound noisy.
okay. All right, so you want it to sound,
Like
big,
a
expensive.
Big climax.
Big climax, okay, good. Can you play that from there to there and make it that way? Goes exactly the way you wanted it?
That time was very clean.
Okay, okay, good. Is it exactly what you wanted? If it is, we can just move on to.
Then let me try the phrasing again.
What are you trying? Why do you want to try?
A bit more.
A bit more,
Of the longer phrase because the whole thing is fortissimo.
okay. So you want to create a longer.
A longer line of phrase.
Line. Where do you want to create that line? Show me where you're,
From-
what you're
I
looking
think
at.
the highest part is this one.
And there, okay, good. Can you do that? Did you create the big line that you're looking for?
I think I did.
Okay, perfect. Easy. Did you play your wrong notes?
Yes.
Can you tell me where the wrong notes are?
It was. I'm not exactly sure what note I played now, but
Something there.
big note, yeah.
Okay. I'd like you to tell me what any mistakes are this time. You play it again. I want you to tell me what mistakes you make. What mistakes did you make?
The time fourth, it didn't feel very centered, so then I restarted.
Okay. Did you play wrong notes, or did you just have a like an awkward
It
feeling?
wasn't a wrong note. Yeah. It doesn't feel as solid as it should.
Okay. Can you tell me how you want to play this? Let's remind ourselves what you're striving for. Can you describe what you're trying to do?
This is the highest climax of the piece.
Mm-hmm.
I want to create very effect, a big effect, but then also clean.
It's kind of
clarity.
like ramping up
Yeah.
into the top. And clean, energetic. Okay. Ready. What happened? Was that big line? What happened?
Oh, we're not there yet. I
Okay.
didn't make it to the build up.
Okay,
I
good.
am the
What happened that made you stop?
wrong note
And what did you play?
here. The song or fish instead of an N.
You're not, which one? Which one did you play?
A G.
You think?
I think. I didn't get to the correct note from this tape.
You think?
I'm pretty sure.
You're pretty sure. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Can you start again from there and play the passage? Make it the way you want. Can you tell me again how you want it to sound? Tell me.
Oh,
How do
sorry.
you describe it?
To build up within the climax.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And play the right.
Yes.
Okay. How was that? Did you do the way you wanted to do it?
It was pretty. There were some notes in the top boards of the left hand.
Okay. Where? Which notes were wrong?
The first one was this. I think I didn't exactly play a different note, but it was like I flat, a normal, yeah, or like a
Okay.
natural.
All right, good. One more time, and then we'll talk about what
Okay.
we're doing here. From here to there, create the long line. What else do you want to do? What's your goal?
Forcing clarity.
Mm-hmm. Accuracy. Okay, one more time.
Play around with the left hand.
What note did you play wrong? You sure?
Yes.
Okay. All right, good. So what we're doing here is a very important kind of, this is practicing, but it's not like technical practice. This is mental practice. This is training yourself to be more perceptive, to be more in control of stopping and starting, to be more judicious in how you pace and how you partition your energy. A couple of times you play like a measure or two barely and then you stop. You did what everybody wants to do in that case. You want to just jump back to the beginning and start again. Obvious mistake. But what we're doing when we do that is we're sweeping that mistake under the carpet, right? And not dealing with it. It's going to come back out because you didn't deal with it. This is a very important thing to watch out for because like I'm here now asking you questions and making you answer the question before you move on to the next step. When we're by ourselves in the practice room, it's very easy to say, oh, I made a mistake. Let me start again. Oh, I made a mistake. I know exactly what, let me just start again. We're very uncomfortable leaving a mistake hanging out in the air, right? And yet, that mistake is your doorway into understanding like, what's going on with this. Sometimes the doorway is here on this note. The same doorway opens, but a little bit later over here. It's like whack-a-mole. If you don't deal with the cause of the mistake, it just goes underground, and then it comes back up in another tone. Yeah. Much better would be in the practice room to grab those, deal with them, and then you have less of those happening in the concert. It's very important to acknowledge your mistake, that you made a mistake, but that's not enough. We have to also say, instead of what's written, I did this. If we don't do that, then you just play the right note. You know the right note is here. Anybody can come and say, here's the right note. Only you can tell me like what the wrong note was that you played. And there are different, it's evidence of different kinds of mistake. Could be technical, which means you do have to repeat over and over and make sure your muscle memory gets built, the reflex is built. Could be a mental mistake. Maybe you were thinking of something before and not prepared for the next one, and the hand just kind of played something. Could be an emotional mistake. You've made a mistake in the same place before, and when you get there, you start getting nervous, and your energy changes. Yeah. So in order for us to understand what kind of mistake it is, we have to stop at the mistake, or at least be able to go back and say, here, the mistake was here, instead of what's written. I did this. What you did is a sign of where you are. What you want is here, where you are is here, and you need to go like that. If you don't know where you are, you don't know what direction to go in to get to where you want to go, right? When we enunciate like what we're trying to do, like I'm making you answer that question, you're probably thinking things that you have thought before but never put into words, because nobody's ever asked you directly, what are you trying to do with this phrase? Yeah. So I'm also trying to make you come up with an answer out loud. That's also very difficult to do in the studio by yourself. Humility to say, I made a mistake here, but observation and perception to be able to say, instead of that, I played this. And there are things that we have to understand about, like being nervous, having too much energy. Sometimes it's not having enough energy when we're nervous. Yeah. And this is a concept I call overgiving and undergiving. When we're in the practice room and kind of even keel, we're kind of like at this midline. In the concert, we're kind of like up here and then sometimes down here. We're never just like right in the middle. Even if we want to, we're there and it kind of goes. So we need to be able to diagnose our mistake as, is it overgiving or undergiving? Am I being too eager to do something, or am I being too cautious to do something? Am I overthinking the things, or is my mind just behind the music? Am I in front of it? Am I behind it? Too much talking, not enough talking. Too much tension in the arms, not enough tension in the arms. Too much focus on the audience, not enough focus on the audience. Yeah, all these things have an over and an under version of it. Playing a wrong note, jumping and hitting something higher, overgiving. Jumping and not hitting it, not getting quite up there, undergiving. Playing a note a little bit soft, undergiving. A little bit too loud, accidentally, overgiving. Playing too fast, over. Playing too slow, under. Yeah, so all of these things, it's very complex. This is why only you can answer that question. Yeah, so we need to, that's why I wanted you to feel a little bit of the frustration involved in the process when I stop you and ask you questions. Yeah, so that you can try to replicate that in the studio practice room on your own. Okay, Professor Chiu said to ask these questions. Okay, I'm going to ask and answer these questions on my own. And if you can do that, you're going to play a lot less, but you're going to get a lot more. You're going to perceive a lot more from the few times that you play it, versus playing it over and over and over again, getting tired, getting tense in the arm, getting numb in the ears. Oh, I can't stand this passage anymore. I can't play it. And I played it so many times and it's still wrong. Yeah. We've spent 20 minutes on this, possibly 15, 20 minutes. You've played it 5 times. And I think you're more aware of the details now than you ever were. Yeah. Because of the hyper-focus and because you're not playing. You're sitting at the piano, but you're not playing. Those are very important things to be able to do. Okay. Any questions? Okay, we'll stop there.
Thank
Thank
you.